Welcome to this podcast for Brighton School of Business and Management students studying for the Btec Level 5 courses. For this unit you'll need to satisfy the criteria as laid down in the assignment brief and as described here, but you should wherever possible use examples from your own organisation and business sector, as well as showing evidence of having studied the unit topics in depth and breadth by referring where appropriate to relevant models, theories and established best practices. To enhance your understanding of these assignment issues, we strongly advise that you also discuss them with managers and specialists in your own organisation. Each section should be approximately 375 words, although this is flexible up to around 450 words, not including graphics or illustrations, so you'll need to keep your responses focused on what is being specifically asked for in each section. Section 1. In essence, project management principles are based on defining objectives, understanding constraints, managing the life cycle of the project and numerous sub-principles within those. You need to give an overview or summary of these in your answer. Here you need to discuss why the scope, goals and objectives need to be provably met, why the project needs to be completed on time and come in at or under budget, and that if not, then there is failure in one or more aspects of the project that needs to be addressed. On the last bullet point, you need to compare the benefits of using different organisational structures, different team structures, different technological approaches, different control systems, using or not using a formal system such as Prince, and so on. Section 2. Just as asked, you need to use your own organisation's documentation if available, but also search on Google using project plus initiation documentation plus example, and visit the sites suggested at the end of this podcast to consider other formats. Here you should give an overview of how to plan a project using a specific project if possible, and mention the use of feasibility analysis, risk assessment, Gantt charts, network analysis, critical path analysis and so on. For this bullet point you need to focus on feasibility analysis, risk assessment and management and critical path analysis. On the last bullet point, you need to identify the stakeholders, clients, customers or sponsors, suppliers and or contractors, possibly employees, possibly local authority and the local community, then describe the most effective ways of keeping them individually and collectively informed and responding to their individual and collective views, needs and expectations. Section 3. You'll need to describe a project, create an outline project plan with timescales, stages, milestones, critical paths, resources and objectives, and describe how you would implement that project. For bullet point 2, you need to describe how you would use and apply tools and techniques such as monitoring progress through critical path analysis and Gantt charts, project status reports, budget reports, change management methods, etc. On the last bullet point, you need to focus on the risks identified at the start of the project, plus any that arise during the project. This could be about supplies, availability of and expertise of labour, weather, changes of specification, funding and so on. Section 4. Evaluating the outcomes, financial, operational and stakeholder satisfaction outcomes, means applying review and evaluation techniques as the final stage in the closure phase. Here you'll need to create a simple report in business report format designed to inform a range of diverse stakeholders, which could include client, suppliers and contractors, employees, perhaps local authority and local community and the local and national media, of the outcomes which are relevant to them rather than the outcomes that are relevant to the project delivery organisation itself. Finally, recommendations for improvement are natural outcomes of the review and evaluation process. They are the lessons learned and recommendations for changes to the next and following project or projects. Don't forget that you'll need to write a reflective statement and add a list of sources of information and references detailing any books, websites, articles, case studies, reports, internal documents and people interviewed that you drew on in order to complete this assignment. the reflective statement and sources of information and references are not included in your word count. Here is a list of websites that you should find useful when preparing this assignment. And if you need any further help or guidance with this assignment, please contact your tutor.